Eccleshall to be precise. Look at this. So this is the Jersey trip then?
Yeah, Jersey trip.
Wow, look at that. The station wagon version. Perhaps not their best end, but never mind. Yeah, that's a really nice one. I haven't got one that shape. Austin, Victoria, based on a good old 1100 and 1300, the BMC car. Now here's something I don't think I've ever seen before either. What a great looking thing, and indeed, this lovely little Land Rover alongside. The Standard 8, a small, sturdy, reliable four-seater with 4 doors and a 4-cylinder engine. The rear seats fold to make a bigger boot for luggage. I spy the 8 on the badge, or the 10 on the Standard 10, and for that you got a score of 15. Well, welcome to Old Classic Car. Today we have left the safe environs of Cheshire and motored our way in the trusty Standard 8 all the way down to Staffordshire, Eccleshall to be precise, for the Eccleshall show, part of which is a very large vehicle show, transport show, lorries, cars and motorcycles. There's a bit of everything on here today, and we will be prioritising the classic cars in the field over there. So yeah, fingers crossed, we'll be in for an excellent day down at Eccleshall. Well, there's a car section over there. We'll have a proper look at that in a mo. But to begin with, look at this. So we've got a Bedford recovery truck here, a Bedford TL. I've seen this gentleman's vehicles before here and there. Lovely J-type and the Moggy. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Lots of tractors here, lots of agricultural machinery. Yeah, look at this fantastic old Bedford and the Morris J-type alongside it. That could be a J or a JB. The JB's got the later overhead valve engine. But the J-type has the Morris Oxford MO side valve engine tucked away under the engine cover. What a bonny little thing that is. On the back of the Bedford recovery truck, another wonderful Bedford there. I do love these bonneted Bedfords of the sort of late, it could be late 40s, early 50s. Some of them were even pre-war, and they did change a little bit. Some of them were the O series, and I think there was a K series before that, and they kind of look fairly similar. But either way, what a stunning little breakdown truck. Complete with Monsieur Bibendum, the Michelin man, up on the back there. So clearly we're going to be in for a bit of a treat variety-wise down here at the Eccleshall show. I'm sure some of the cars we will have seen before, and a few will be new to us, which is always nice. And a beautiful A35, an Austin A35 van. Fairly early-ish example, not the earliest of the A35s, because the really early A35s didn't have the flashing indicators. They still had the pop-up semaphores of the A30 that came before, but it still has the sort of the set-in, the impressed door panels, and on the rear panels on the later A35 vans these are smoothed off and they look more like the saloon doors. Isn't that a little cracker? This is 1967 registration. Yeah, so cool, the old little vans and the lorries. I love the old commercial vehicles. And there's a reminder that after the war, the speed limit for lorries was just 20 miles an hour. When I was speaking to one of the guys who used to drive my Dodge truck after the war, he said the reason it was left on trade plates, it was never road registered when they were using it to visit all the race circuits up and down the country. If they ran on trade plates, they didn't have to adhere, apparently, to the 20 mile an hour commercial vehicle speed limit. So they were able to bomb up and down the length of the country from their base on the south coast without worrying too much about the 20-mile-an-hour limit. Just quite an interesting little thing to learn. But yeah, what a great setup. Ray Herritt and Sons Road Transport of Stafford. Stafford's not too far away from here. Like I say, Eccleshall is in Staffordshire, so I'm guessing this is a fairly local meet. Oh, what a great setup that is. There's the little Morris van. Another stunning Bedford lorry. What a cracker that is. That's got the slightly longer front on it.
See you later, I'll see your friend Phil.
Lovely properly roped load with a tarp. A stenciled tarpaulin on the back, which looks just right for an old lorry. No ratchet straps here. Great old sign writing as well. So, UW, unladen weight. I wonder if it's a 6 because it's got the longer front on it, I think.
The other one was a 6, wasn't it?
Possibly. It looks like a 6-cylinder engine. Just about see through there. Certainly a fairly long engine, but yeah. What a stunning old lorry that is. In fact, a great collection of vehicles. Right, well, I think what we'll do is there are still 1 or 2 cars arriving, so I think I'll have a look at the lorry, the commercial vehicle section first here at Eccleshall, because I imagine most of the lorries will be in place by now, and dwarfed by this modern Scania and DAF combo. Another lovely Bedford, a bit of an earlier one, this one. This is 1930s, this one dates to. Yeah, I think, let's have a look. Oh, there we go, 1936 WL Bedford, 28 horsepower, 6-cylinder petrol, 2-ton payload. What a beautiful pre-war, very jolly colour scheme. Proper enamel badge for Bedford there. Isn't that just lovely? I could so easily, if I had the space, I could so easily get into buying lorries, because for the price of a fairly average classic car you can buy some wonderful old lorries. Look at this drop side body, Stan Robinson. Isn't that lovely? Check engine oil and water daily. Because of course in the old days, before the widespread take up of antifreeze, lorry drivers would drain off the coolant, the water. They'd drain off the coolant every night from the radiator and the engine block, the little taps on the side of the engine block to drain the coolant off at night, and then in the morning they would refill it with plain water and then rinse and repeat. Of course, if you forgot in the winter months and the water, you left it in the engine overnight or in the radiator and it froze, you could come back to a cracked block in the morning, which wouldn't be a good outcome at all. So there's certainly a lot of responsibility in the hands of truck drivers, lorry drivers back in the day to ensure that their vehicles didn't suffer from a cracked block, etc. Of course now everyone tends to use antifreeze, and that protects the engines, and they have a lot of anti-corrosion elements to them as well. But in the olden days, in this case 1936, that's what they would do. But what a cracking little Bedford that is. And its original registration number as well, which is lovely to see. And next to that, from the same stable it would seem, Stan Robinson, a mighty Atkinson border, much newer. This is early 1970s, about 1970, it's on an L reg, about 72, somewhere around there. The Arctic, there's what they call the fifth wheel on the back. The trailer, this would all have been greased up, really thick, heavy, claggy grease, and the trailer would come up on there, engage into there, lock into there, and that's your articulated lorry setup. But yeah, this Atkinson's in fantastic condition. Nice mud flaps as well. A handsome old girl that is. A little bit of America here, a mighty Kenworth. Well, that's a whopper, isn't it? Of course, these were designed to go coast to coast in the States, so very long road trips, all the comforts that you can imagine to make the trip just a little bit more agreeable, because you'd be away for days at a time, whereas in this country, yes, they might do overnights, but typically not probably the duration of journey that the driver of this Kenworth would have experienced, at least, unless they went into Europe, of course. Now, here we have an ERF, Edwin Richard Foden, that's where ERF comes from. Foden, of course, also being a lorry manufacturer. And a Ford here, K registration Ford. Morris. Of course, by this point in time, they were no longer called Morris Commercial, just Morris. Whereas much earlier vehicles, 30s, 1940s, that kind of thing, they were badged up as Morris Commercial, just in case you were in any doubt that you were looking at a commercial vehicle. But again, this one's beautifully turned out. Just look at all that pinstriping and lettering. Lovely, lovely, lovely sight to see here down at Eccleshall. More modern classic here from the 1980s, a mighty Scania. Next to that, a DAF. Ooh, I see a Farina Grey A40 over there. That's going to be one of the highlights of the car section here today, but yeah, we will stick with plan A and go and have a look at the commercial vehicles before we have a closer look at the magnificent array of cars here. And as we said, Foden, of course, from Sandbach, which isn't too far away from here, same with the RF, both based in Sandbach. The Road Haulage Association badge. Again, an Arctic, minus trailer. And again, lovely, proper sign writing, none of your vinyl cut stuff here. Isn't it great that there are still people around who can do this wonderful old sign writing on lorries, and indeed canal boats, that kind of thing. Yeah, lovely, lovely example of a Foden. Slightly later ERF. A few of the slightly later commercials here, Scanias. So let's go and have a look, see what we can find, because we tend to prioritise the older vehicles here on the Old Classic Car channel, as regulars will know all too well. There's a Bedford TK I haven't seen before on an L registration, so a fairly late-ish example of the breed. Still a few cars arriving as well, including a Van den Plas, a 1966 VDP. Now, is this the 3 litre or the 4 litre? It's the 4 litre R, the Rolls-Royce powered car. Those horizontal rear lights are the giveaway that it's a 4 litre R as opposed to the 3 litre cars. It's meandering its way down to the car section, so we'll get a chance to have a look at that one a little bit later. We've got a Citroen 7 or something similar here. Not too well up on my 7s, that's a Westfield, I think. And a little Bond Minicar, look at that. It's on a CC, the CC part of that registration tells us that spent its early years in North Wales. CC is a North Wales registration. A few traction issues there on the muddy field. And a mighty Bristol. Isn't that a beauty? Now, what model of Bristol are we looking at here? 410 perhaps. We'll have the Chrysler V8 engine, because by this point in time Bristol had stopped fitting the straight 6. The 406 was the last 6-cylinder Bristol. So that'll be a V8. I'm just not quite sure which model it is, but it's probably a 410. Right, similar to GTE, the SE6 version. Slightly larger than the SE5 and the 5A that came before. But again, still with the Ford V6 engine, 3 litres. Fiberglass body, steel chassis. It's always worth looking on the back of any beaver tail flatbed lorries that come in. And here we've got a pair of lovely old tractors, an International Harvester I think we're looking at here. Behind that, an Alice Chalmers. The vintage car world is represented today. to begin with, at least buy this wonderful Elvis. What a lovely little Tourer that is. Now, what model are we looking at there? 1250 perhaps? And here we've got another beautiful lorry, again with a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit plate on it. I think this is a Dennis Pax. It's come over from Burton-on-Trent. Wow, isn't that lovely? What a cracking little lorry that is. Lorries, in case you're in any doubt, but that just helps people know where to park up if they're early. Oh, there's a whole gaggle of cars coming in, a trio of lovely old Rovers, so we'll watch those coming in. But isn't that just lovely? What a beautifully turned out old lorry that is. Flatbed body on it. Oh, that's a real Bobby Dazzler, if ever I've seen one. So heading up this trio of Rovers, we've got a Rover P3, just post-war. That's a sports saloon as well, that's nice. Rover P4 pair now. Anyway, back to commercial vehicles. Next to the lovely Dennis, a very unusual forward control Leyland. A Leyland prototype, 1953. Yeah, what an incredible looking vehicle that is. Complete with its load of tractors that we just looked at a moment ago. So this window here was designed to give you good access if you're parking or turning into a narrow area. I'll just give you a bit of extra information because the driver's it's quite a wide cab. As you can see, you've got a bench seat next to the driver's seat. Not sure if you can see that, but yeah, it's always great to see these oddball vehicles, whether it's a car or a lorry, survive and end up being restored. What a treat that is. We've got a Leyland DAF alongside that with beaver tail body, handy for transporting old vehicles if they are a little bit reluctant to run, which is something I'm quite familiar with. Got a modern DAF here and another one there, but we'll carry on looking for the older machines. And what's this Leyland here? A Leyland Reaver. There's some serious kit on the back of that one. An Atlas crane. A Scammell here, another tractor unit. Tractor unit is the front bit of what will be an articulated lorry if it had the trailer on it. I think these cabs were designed by Michelotti, the designer responsible for the Triumph Herald and the Spitfire and so on. But I think he also, or at least that styling company, the Italian stylists, did design, I think, this Scammell cab. Yeah, certainly quite a groovy looking vehicle and very, very distinctive. There's no mistaking that for anything else other than a Scammell. Occasionally we see a petrol tanker with this cab, which is also good to see. That's beauty, and there's lovely line painting Bedford here. We've seen this one once or twice at the Midway Cafe and places like that, and the Cheshire Run as well. Always a treat to see that beautifully turned out. And I've got quite a few modern-ish lorries here. Not modern to me, but some of them are probably 30 years old now. So I'll have a scoot down here because I can see a lovely ERF. All these vehicles are beautifully turned out. Got a Ford D series here. Breakdown recovery truck. Perkins diesel power. And again, the Michelin man up on the roof there, keeping an eye on proceedings. But this is the one I wanted to come and have a look at. This stunning, absolutely beautiful Gardner-powered ERF. Now NVT 558, what year is this going to be? Early 50s, late 40s? some in that area, I would have thought. Yeah, so original. Look at that original lettering. Don't get me wrong, I love restored lorries as well, but there's something about seeing the original paintwork, the paintwork that's been on there, what, 70 years, something like that, out in all weathers when this was a working vehicle. There's just something special about these really original preserved vehicles. Just wears its age on its sleeve, and that is just a beautiful old lorry. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Isn't that just fantastic? Nice load on the back, and I would suspect there's probably some living accommodation hiding away discreetly behind here. Yep, there we go. What a great way to have your show vehicle set up, so you can park up in the middle of the show arena and you've got all your living accommodation tucked away, hidden in there behind a period looking tarpaulin. Just perfect. Yeah, there are lots of country fair type activities here. Horse riding, pony riding, all that kind of thing. And the prizes for guessing what we'll be prioritising in our videos today. Yes, the mighty internal combustion engine in all its glory. We've got Volvo, Scania, Mercedes and the DAF. Dwarfed by this huge Scania here, lovely Bedford TK. This is a 1965 registered TK, and this has got the early whisker cab, because the early TKs had this style of badging across the front. It did vary a little bit over the years, but this one's got the whiskers set in to the panel, picked out here with a little bit of pinstriping. And that's another lovely example of a Bedford TK. Scania's just started up. Iveco ERF, another wonderful ERF, this one from the late 1960s. Volvo, early 1970s Volvo. Another Atkinson Borderer. Very smart too. The efforts that go into keeping these getting them beautifully painted up as we see here, but keeping them looking great should never be underestimated with lorries, and even more so perhaps with like double-decker buses and coaches, that kind of thing, because they take a huge amount of effort just to keep them looking smart. You know, drive down one muddy road, one muddy lane, and you've got to start all over again. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. There's an oddball looking one here. SD, that's Shell, Voke and Drury. That's a company that more often is associated with sort of bin lorries, that kind of thing. And this one looks like it's been built up or converted into a flatbed, but I bet this probably started out as some sort of bin lorry, refuse wagon, that kind of thing. Gully emptier, perhaps. I know some of those bonneted Dennises, like the one we saw before, the cream colour one, a lot of those were used as gully emptiers. I'm guessing this was probably a bin lorry in its earlier life before being restored, as you see it here, but that's a really rare thing, really rare sight. Early 1970s registration on this one. And here, an EC Mercury. Good old Austin there. Late 1950s, I would have thought. And a wonderful Leyland. I do like the look of this era of Leyland lorry. I just think they're so characterful. The Leyland Beaver. Astor Park, that's another rally we get to every now and again. We've missed this year, it's by the look of it, August 12th and 13th, but never mind. We did go a year or two ago. Check out the video for that one if you haven't seen it yet. We do get to quite a few of these rallies like this, Malpas. We went to Llandudno earlier this year for the first time in many, many years. There was a great turnout of lorries there as well. So if you like your classic lorries, please check out some of the other videos that are on the channel. There is a separate playlist just for commercial vehicle related content. AC Marshall here heading up this particular row. And there's that beautiful Dennis Pax. I think I'll have to have another look at that one. I can still see vehicles coming in actually. But yeah, I just want to have another look at this fantastic Dennis. It's always a treat to see vehicles you haven't seen before. And I like the fact they've got living accommodation. Put my teeth in. Living accommodation here on the back in this converted horse trailer. Wow. Complete with a little stove, a little wood burning stove, and a chimney out through the roof. How neat is that? There's no one in there, so we can have a quick peek inside. Happiness is homemade. Indeed it is. And it's got a little awning on the back as well. Good grief. Got MGTD just driving in there. V8 Lotus Esprit. Pair of ERFs coming in. I missed this before. There you go. Originally a gully cleaner. Promise I didn't read this first. Owned by Hazelmere Urban District Council, UPH 966 was a Surrey issued number plate. Rescued and restored from a farm in Aldershot by Terry Piper in 1997. And then it was re-restored again after being changing owners in 2017. Gaggle of classic motorcycles here, Suzuki, Norton, lovely Beezer, the Triumph, oh, that's nice, sprung saddle. I so easily see why people collect old motorcycles. And indeed, old bicycles too. What make is this one? There's an H, is that Hercules? Yep. Hercules, complete with dyno hub in the front wheel there. So there's a little dynamo built into there to power your lighting. Very neat little system. And an old Dunlop saddle as well, just very in keeping. Ladies machine alongside that. 1930s, that one's dated 1951, the little Hercules. So it's got a dyno hub in the front and the Sturmey Archer gear set in the back wheel, in the middle of the wheel there. Sometimes they're combined in the back, so you have the a dynamo in the hub, along with the Sturmey Archer gear set in there, so that's all quite neat. Got an AJS, Ducati Super Sport, and a Norton 750 Commander. A pretty wild looking trike. A pretty wild looking Pinsgauer. Wow. Again with accommodation in the back, which makes it super practical for a rally like this. I mean, this is actually only a one-day event, unusually. Most of them we come to are 2-dayers. AW, that's a Shropshire registration, just over the border from here in Staffordshire today. Yeah. Looks like a pretty handy go-anywhere vehicle. That's not going to get stuck in a boggy field at any steam rallies, I imagine. A couple of bay window campers here. Again, super handy for an event like this. The cars are just over there. And working our way closer. Got a Jeep here. And a fantastic Land Rover. Look how original that Series 1 is. One of the long wheelbase Landies. Just how I like to see an old Land Rover. Used looking rather than pristine. A fair bit of blue poking out under the grey paintwork. So I wonder if maybe did it belong to the Royal Navy at one point perhaps, I'm not sure, but I've got a fantastic old GB plate, the old AA GB plate on the back there. Got a Land Rover, a lightweight Land Rover here. Squeeze down here. And the Series 1 there. David Plantanson's driving school. That's quite a groovy little machine. Another one there. And another one there. It's a Series 3 in this case. So we've got a Series 1, a 2 or a 2A, and a Series 3 here. Then we've got much later, much modified Land Rover Defenders, a Cairn Chelsea, and a Series 1, Civil Defence Corps Series 1 here. That's a cracker, isn't it? Just as it came out of the factory. Nice rope on the front there, in case of predicaments. Wow. Super clean example, this one. Apologies for the clatter of the diesel lorry behind. Hope you can still hear me. Oh, nice Pyrene fire extinguisher down there. Got a plaque on the dash, manufactured by the Rover Company Limited, Birmingham, England. The VW bay window VW here. In fact, several old campers. There's a Transit there, another Transit slightly later. And 52 plates, that's 2002. And a Heimer. Now we've seen this one before at Weston Park, maybe one or two other places, but such a bonkers looking vehicle. The front panel looks very much like an early Bedford CF, although this is actually badged up as an Opel. So clearly it started out life elsewhere. Such an unusual machine that is. Slightly from a familiar territory with a little VW and a Beetle, of course, alongside with a very natty period sunroof. Sunroof, what am I talking about? The roof rack. There we go. I wonder who made that roof rack. I like the curved wooden slats. That's very nice. This is a 1303 VW Beetle with the bay window for company alongside. And here, a pickup, no less. Well, it's like a crew cab pickup. Crew cab because it's got an extra row of seats behind the front seats. And the Transit, even these Smileys Transits, this era of Transits are starting to appear more regularly at classic shows like this one. We've got a Bedford CA here. This is a Mark III Bedford CAS, the short wheelbase. Mark III, because it's got the tall one-piece windscreen, whereas the Mark II that came before it had the shallow one-piece screen. The Mark I before that had the split two-piece screens. Yeah, inside it's very similar. There's a build plate down there. Column gear change, of course. Engines behind the cover, just there. A petrol engine. I think they're all petrol engines, in fact. And these sliding doors. This was very much a feature of the Bedford CA. Of course, you have to make sure they're locked firmly, because otherwise, when you brake hard, the doors slam shut, and you wouldn't want your fingers in the way. What a lovely little van that is, so straight down the sides. And that's the challenge with an old van, because they usually get work hard, loads shift around inside, and the vans just get driven into the ground. So to see one that's survived in such fine fettle, presumably restored, is a real treat. They often rot out on the step area here as well, and down the sill. All the water runs down there and it gets kicked by big boots. People are clambering in and out. So that's just a lovely little thing. There's the two VWs. We've got some bits and bobs for sale on the floor. That's the only thing we need. Ooh, I see A40 lights.
Hey,
All right. I see A40 lights. Do I need A40 lights? Probably not.
Gilburn.
Yes, Gilburn, Wolseley 1500, all sorts of things.
Some of the stuff I just get rid of.
There's a little Morris, I think it's a 10.4.
The old like the number plate.
Cracking little car-like caravan there. I sometimes get tempted with the idea of getting an old caravan. We shall see. I've had tiny little caravans in the past, but not anything that you'd normally call a caravan. Usually little folding things, or a little Wessex Craftsman I had at one time in the Porterfold. We're back to the bike section and the beginning of the car section. So let's have a look at the many vintage and classic cars that are here today. I'm sure there'll be quite a few that we haven't seen before. And this bright orange machine here is a Lancia Fulvia, but a Zagato bodied Lancia Fulvia. Capesthorne only last weekend we saw one of the factory Lancia Fulvias, a very different looking car to this. This is altogether sleeker, a Fulvia Sport, bodied by Italian coach builder Zagato, hence the Z on the front wing. Very distinctive looking car. I'm still not entirely sure where I stand on these. Do I prefer the factory cars? I think it's very colour dependent. I know Harley likes these a lot. I think it really does depend on the colour, and this bright orange, it actually looks quite nice. I think they share the running gear with that of the factory Fulvia, so front wheel drive V4 engine. Yeah, certainly very distinctive and very rare, because as with most cars of this era, most of them will have rotted away or been crashed by now. Oh, certainly a very distinctive car. So I think we will work our way down this road first. We've got one of the limited edition MGBs here, the MGB GT. Very distinctive alloy wheels with the gold highlights. I think those are the same wheels that were fitted to the factory V8. They certainly look the same. Got a Leyland coming in. Anyway, back to the cars. Very smart MGB. And the Morris Minor Traveller, but not any old Morris Minor Traveller. This is a fairly early one. It's a Series 2, hence a split two-piece windscreen on this particular car. PXH920, so this will be 1950s. Sort of mid-1950s, 56, 55, somewhere around there. Yeah, very distinctive windscreen. Before the adoption of the one-piece curved windscreen, they had these two flat pieces of glass. The A-Series engine, of course, in these by this point in time. Earlier Minors had the side-valve engine lifted from the Morris 8 Series E. These have got the BMC A-Series engine in them. Next to that, Triumph 2000 Mk1. There we go. It has remained in the same family since it was purchased from new, April 1965. That's the one, old classic car. So we've got this duo here, this lovely Morris Minor and the Mk1 Triumph 2000. So, madam, the Triumph 2000, what's the story with this one then? It's been in the family a while?
Yes, it was my grandfather's. He bought it new in 1965.
Great.
It's from Leicestershire and number plate DAY 858C. And yeah, we have a lot of fun in it now. It's been in the family, as I say, for nearly 60 years.
Wow.
And yeah, we go all sorts of places.
So has it been on the road continually all that time, or is it?
No, sadly, when my grandfather passed away, it was stored in the his garage until my gran sadly passed away, and then it came to Staffordshire,
Right.
and it then stayed in our garage while we thought about how to repair it.
Yeah.
And at the time we were renovating the farmhouse, so it was a bit costly. We used to lift the carpet up and you'd see daylight underneath.
Oh, it was one of those, was it?
Yeah, so we had all the underneath done.
Right.
And now we go about enjoying ourselves.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you got any old photographs of it back in the
Yes,
day and all
yes.
that kind of thing?
Yeah, we have actually.
Nice
And we've
one.
got the full service history going back
perfect.
to the 60s. So,
Wow. That
and the
looks-
original invoice and everything.
Does
So,
it?
yeah.
It looks very original looking car. I'm guessing most of the paint's original. Is the blue, is that a later addition on the top, or
No,
has
that's
it
an
always
original.
been like that? Has it always been like that?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's original livery.
Wow, that's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have-
It's
let's have-
Wedgwood over gunmetal.
Is that the colour, is it?
That's the proper
Right.
Sorry,
colour.
I didn't say that. should I?
So it's the 2 litre. Are they all got overdrive, or some got overdrive, or
Some haven't. This is a 2 litre straight 6 with the overdrive.
Right.
There are some cars without the overdrive.
Are there? Right. Yeah, I like the look of the earlier ones. I must admit, the Mark ones I think look really nice.
Yeah, very distinctive nose cone.
Yeah, I wasn't so keen when they refreshed it to the Mark IIs. You know, so it's a good job your grandfather didn't change it, wasn't it? Or
Yeah,
he didn't
yeah.
sell it.
What
or
a relief
you know.
that was.
Yeah.
The Mark IIs are lovely in their own right, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are just a little bit rarer, aren't they? I
Yeah.
think?
It's a good car. I mean,
not so many survived, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a 65 car, but it drives quite well, pretty well in modern traffic. So
Yeah, it's going to keep up, isn't it?
decent.
We've been on the motorway
Yeah.
in
Have you?
it, done 70, yeah.
It'll hold its own at 70 on the motorway. Decent brakes, it handles okay. So pretty good in modern traffic.
A
which
good
is
user, good
Yeah.
user, and you can all pile in it as well, can't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of room in there. Let's have a
It's-
quick peer in through the window, can we? Have a quick shufty. Mid-60s motoring interior. Can we pop the door? Is it open? Is it? Can we pop this open?
It's open,
There we go. Look at that. What a treat! The original stand part seatbelt clips. We do like those. Look at that. Yeah, they're great.
The
They
interior
are.
is completely untouched.
Yeah, it's
never
fantastic,
been touched.
isn't it?
A few bit of age related.
Well,
wear
yeah,
now,
but it's got a few years behind it now, isn't it?
yeah, that's all part of it, I guess.
Definitely. I love the shape of it. It's quite sort of it's quite advanced looking for a British car,
it's
isn't
a very
it? It's
integrated design, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very stylish design. But you see a lot of that on this period of car, don't you? So
Yeah.
I think that's what sets a lot of them apart.
Well, I think by the 70s they sort of toned things down a bit, didn't
Yeah.
they? They sort of they had their moment of sort of being quite creative, and then they sort of watered it down.
They went very plain, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, and they sort of standardised things, especially Triumph. They sort of standardised things across the Dolomite and the Mark II 2000s and the Stags. They all kind of had the family look, didn't they? But
it's like the design details, like the instrument cluster sort of shape reflects the nose cone and little details like that.
Yeah,
which is good.
It's great, and it's survived really nicely, isn't it? The original carpets, the trims.
Yeah.
No one's cut the door trims to put speakers in or anything like that.
Never been chopped, which is great.
No, it's a treat to see it out here today in Eccleshall, in sunny Eccleshall. So do you get to quite a few shows then? Because I don't think I've seen this one before anywhere. Do you get around?
We try to, but it's difficult because I'm farming, so it's summertime, summer harvest kicks in. Shrewsbury West Mid show this year. We did a Triumph Club show down at Wellsbourne in Warwickshire. Do a few Triumph Club trips. We took this to Jersey last year.
Did you? Wow.
Drove down a pool and then got the Condor over to Jersey, which was a fantastic trip.
That sounds fun.
And we're going to do Goodwood Revival next week. And then we're planning to do another 2000 2.5 registered trip. The end of September up to Llandudno.
Oh, great stuff.
And I try and use it a little bit when I can. If I need a trip from home down to Newport, local town, a couple of, every now and again I just dig it out and give it a spin, just to keep it ticking over.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's great that it's just stayed in the same family all this time, cause
it's pretty unique, isn't it?
So often the history gets lost, or you lose touch with what it did in its early life, but the fact that you know exactly where it's been all this time.
That's right.
It's just
still on its little original Leicestershire key fob.
Oh wow. That's great, and the devil's in the detail.
That's the original one from not the Caterpillar one, but
that's lovely. That. So that's the supplying dealer in Leicester.
Yeah.
Wow.
Browett.
That's really, really cool. That is.
Yeah. Nice thing. Little details are nice to have.
Of course they are. Yeah. Of course they are. Yeah. So this is the Jersey trip then.
Yeah, Jersey trip.
Got the lighthouse there as well.
Yeah.
It's a famous car.
And,
so this is a club magazine then?
It's a club magazine, yeah.
Oh, right.
2000.
Oh, there it is as well, yeah. Famous
with
car.
The cows.
Yeah, it's all in good company, isn't it? And the other one?
The Six Appeal.
Yeah, yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so this is my great grandma.
Wow.
Sitting in the car.
In this car?
In the late 60s.
Wow.
That's the original invoice.
Oh, is that for this car, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. A breezy day. Wow. Yeah, it's great that that's all survived with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic, isn't it? It's a good magazine, actually. There it is again.
Yeah. And that's the original logbook.
Oh, the old green logbook. Oh, there you go. Gunmetal and Wedgwood. Petrol Saloon 2000. This is probably a fairly early one, because I think, did they come out in about 64, these, I think? 63 or 64, yeah.
63.
Yeah, well, that's a real treat to see that one. Thanks for letting us have a look at your lovely old car.
Pleasure.
Series 2 Moggy we were looking at before. So, what's the story with this one then? How did you end up with this?
I bought it last June as a without a logbook.
Oh, right.
It was a bit crusty.
Was it?
The underside was fine. It's my first car. So I restored it over that summer, all new wings, new fuel tank, new clutch.
Oh, crikey.
Lots of new steering rack.
Yeah.
And that's sort of it. And then it's been my first car since, passed my test in February in an old pickup truck.
Wow.
And then I've been daily driving this, rain, shine, snow, no matter the weather.
Wow.
I'm in it.
So what size engine's in this one then?
It's the original 803cc engine.
Same size as our standard?
Yeah.
Same size engine as that?
It's okay. You've got to... Yeah, you can go up hills screaming up in second.
Yeah,
but it's
all momentum, isn't it? Planning ahead and
of course.
Yeah,
driving with momentum. There's a lot to be said for driving with momentum.
So what year is this then?
It's 1955.
Let's have a look. It's 55.
Sort of middle of the Series 2s.
So it's got the later grille, isn't it? that? Because the first ones had like the grills, didn't they?
Cheese grater grills, I believe they're called.
That's right, the cheese grater.
Yeah, PXH920. I managed to keep that reg that was on it without the logbook. So I managed to register it with its historic number plate.
Oh,
which
excellent!
I thought
That's
was,
better, isn't it? Yeah.
Very good. It's
yeah, definitely.
It's always been black its entire life. It's one of 7 black Series 2 Travellers.
I think I saw one of these.
Rare.
I know where I saw one now. It was down at Bicester. There was one in the public car park down there.
Oh, lovely.
I photographed a black one.
Yeah, but there's only 7 of them.
Wow,
so
wow.
They're getting quite rare now.
Yeah.
But no, the paintwork was quite bad, and obviously I had 4 new wings fitted last year.
Right.
So I got my friend to paint it. And, it's
perfect, isn't it?
It's perfectly usable condition.
Yeah,
it's not shiny, it's not polished, but I use it every day. It's a good, usable classic that doesn't keep up in modern traffic.
Yeah, it's bob on though, isn't it? It looks just right. And it's a rare thing now, isn't it? So what was it like underneath the floors and
fine,
things? Was
completely fine. It has.
They are better, I think, aren't they?
No history on the thing at all. Nothing. But it's been snotted up underneath over the years. But it's good. It's all solid. No rust. There's not a spot of rust on the entire car, which I know you won't believe, but yeah.
Some of the early ones survive better than the late ones.
It's because the quality of steel. Yeah, it's the. If I'm going to be really boring now, but the steel is 0.3 mil thicker.
Is it?
And has less impurities than the later cars.
I know I had a 52. I had a 52 mm, the last of the highlight MMs.
Yeah.
And that I looked underneath, and it had never been welded. This thing, it was just all dead solid. You could just see all the factory welds and things, and that. Even when they do get a bit rusty, it seems to be a lot more localised. Whereas on the later ones, it just seems to run rampant. Yeah. But no, it's a sharp-looking little car.
Yep, and I've had the base of the front seats reupholstered.
Right.
Because the backs need doing. I've got my jumper. My seat's wearing a jumper at the moment, but to stop anyone ripping it further.
Yeah. And the woodwork was pretty solid, was it?
All the structural bit is fine. Only problem area is the rear left door, but it's not structural, so I'm not worried, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't worry about that
at all. And use it.
The thing is, if you had it minted up and you spent 10,000 quid on a repaint, you'd never use it, would you?
I haven't got 10,000 quid, to be perfectly honest. So,
but even if you did, you wouldn't use it, or you'd be terrified of parking it. You'd be.
And I drive every single day, so what's the point in having it polished? Because it just gets scratched or.
And you'd be worried about a bit of rain, wouldn't you, or something? So you'd be looking at the weather all the time. So that wouldn't be much fun. Yeah. So no, it's a cracking. I like it. It's got the proper old Lucas lamps in. None of these horrible modern ones. Yeah. No, it's a great little car, isn't it?
It's open. You're welcome to.
All right, let's have a quick peer inside. Of course, it's still on semaphore indicators at this time.
They do work.
Do they?
Sometimes.
Yeah. And there's the old little Bakelite switch there. Yeah, that scene will be familiar to many, many, many people watching this video, because I'm sure everyone's got a story to tell about a Morris Minor. Let me know in the comments what you remember about these fine little cars. I mean, these were introduced in 1948 originally and sold all the way through to about 71-ish. 71, wasn't it? Something like that. So yeah. Great car, and a long 1D gear lever as well. A bit like on the A30, they had a similar sort of gear lever to that. Of course, that was 803cc as well.
Handbrakes from the Morris 8.
Is it? Well, Series E, sort of same as the Series E, I guess, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's a cracking little car, and I like the view out of a split windscreen as well. You got little clap hand wipers that I keep referring to. But yeah. It just looks so much older when you look through a split windscreen somehow, and that's great. Oh, well, thank you very much for letting us have a look at your great little Morris Minor Traveller.
You're very welcome.
Well, thanks very much to the owner of the lovely little Morris, and also the owners of this beautiful family-owned from new Triumph 2000 Mk1. So let's carry on along here. We've got a great sunbeam Talbot. We've seen this one on the Weaver Wonder and such places. And look at this, on TR6 wheels, a Austin Cambridge A55 Mark II. So these were built 59 to 1961, 1489cc B series engine. Of course, you all know by now that's a Shropshire registration, so I won't point that out, even though I have. And who remembers these? Nodding dogs. Nodding dog for your rear parcel shelf. A perfect 50s accessory, Llangollen Motor Museum. I was in there not long ago. There's a lovely smell of sausages wafting over the field now, which is pretty tough to bear. Yeah, quite a rare car, that is. The Jaguar Mark II on wires. It's for sale. Ooh, 3.8 as well, 3.8 litre Mark II. Very nice. Got a Granada Scorpio here. Triumph Dolomite. An MGB GT.
Good morning.
Where's the Marina?
How's the Renault? Have you mended it?
Yeah, it's working that. So where's the Marina? Same colour.
The Marina
Same colour, isn't it?
Running. It was running yesterday.
Was it?
It's had
Good.
it's had a, what can I say?
We saw that at Smallwood, I think, last year, wasn't it?
Wires.
Was it?
But
Yeah.
it's bad maintenance, isn't it?
So this is yours as well then, is it?
Yeah, this is
Oh, a rubber bumper B.
one of the 11.
Oh, have you got 11 of you?
Yeah.
Are they all orange? So they all seem to be orange, your cars.
We found it. Helen's back can't cope with the vintages because I've got 1920s and
Oh yeah, I think I've
cars.
seen those. Haven't I?
And good morning. And yeah, I've had this about 3 years. It's you know, I never even clean it. It
Very
always
nice.
looks shiny. Just as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then of course we're off to Brewery next week, but we do the Old Towns as well.
Oh right, yeah. Oh,
Every year, that's
Oh right. Okay. So running around North Wales.
yeah. And of course,
Very bright colour, isn't it? Very bonny looking little car.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. That
Can't
looks,
believe where the season's gone, can you?
I know, the months are racing by, aren't they?
Yeah, we
I
should
don't know.
have Sunday lunches at home.
That'll never do.
That'll be the day.
So what have we got here? Vanden Plas.
Yeah, nice.
Is this the 4 litre R that we saw driving in before? I think it probably is. Right, let's carry on down here. Thank you, sir.
See you soon.
Yep, see you around. And this is that lovely 4 litre R, the Rolls-Royce powered. Lovely car these are. You know, quality, the big Farina design for BMC, stretched for the purposes of the VDP Princess. Yeah, nice, isn't it? There's that Bristol that we saw driving in before. I'm still not 100% sure which model we're looking at. Is there there's an information sheet I'm saved. Info sheet. Ah, it is a 410, 1969 410.
Yeah, it's a V8 engine in this one.
Yeah, well these were V8, these were. The 406 was the last of the 6-cylinder Bristols.
Wouldn't it?
Similar shape to this, yeah. I found the 406 years ago in a barn. And the piston had gone in it. It had been sat there for years, it had. The 406 was the last of the straight 6 Bristols, then they went to the V8 power cars. And that's what we're looking at here. Yeah, very handsome machine. The spare wheel sits inside the front wing. I think it's on this side. That panel there, that opens up. I forget if it's top hinged or bottom. I think it's top hinged. And the spare wheel sits in that gap there, behind there, which is very ingenious. Of course, Bristol, originally an aircraft manufacturer. So lovely designs, lovely looking cars. These and the Alvis TD21s I really, really like a lot. And there is that Scimitar GTE that we saw driving in before. Over here, and Alvis, beautiful, lovely vintage Alvis. There's that Rover, Sports Saloon Rover P3. Sports Saloon, lower roofline, as we've said before. Fewer windows, just the 2 windows down the side. The regular saloons have a higher roof and like a little quarter window here. This is the Sports Saloon, and I think they look very sleek indeed. I'm pretty sure this is the P3, which was like an updated, slightly wider version of the P2, Rover 75. Yeah, I'm sure that's a P3, but this lovely Alvis. I'm sure it's a 1250, yeah. It's an early one, is it? And they got the hare mascot.
You can see like the wheels and stuff. It's like
Sort
of late 20s.
It'll be 20s, won't it? Yeah. And big, heavy aluminium backplates there and drum brakes. Yeah, it's very sleek, isn't it? Aluminium coachwork. Well, there you go. 1924, 1250 Super Sports. Super Sports is the name of this body. That's the name I was trying to think of, but I couldn't remember it. Lovely. Lovely, lovely car. Proper nickel plated lamps. As befits a near 100 years. Next year this will be 100 years old. Still on the road. Fantastic. Right, let's carry on down here past the trio, in fact, of Rovers that we saw driving them before. So we've got a 105S, very nice, and the Rover 95. Real quality cars, these P4 Series Rovers. The Morris Minor 1000 Tourer, XXR 521, clap hand wipers, so it's probably about 59, 60. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I like the convertible.
Yeah, nice, aren't they?
Have you seen these two Bond is it Minicars?
Yeah, I saw this one driving in before.
It's weird being hardtop, isn't it? Because there's that
Some are
charity
hardtops.
one that's
Yeah.
the convertible, and that's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, you can get opened ones.
I didn't know they did like.
Yeah.
I think it's actually like styled really well. You see how that sort of sinks in, and then there's like little fins. I think it's actually done right.
Yeah.
Really nice.
That's quite a neat little car. Grandad had a Bond mini car.
Is it
And
two-stroke?
and used to have to lift the bonnet up to kickstart. It had a kickstart like a motorbike on it. I think he said he stopped at a pedestrian crossing once and the engine fell out, which was not really a glowing recommendation, but maybe his wasn't in the finest of fettle at the time, perhaps. Let's carry on down here past the S-Series TVR of the 1980s. A Jag here, one of the alloy-bodied X350s. I'll just sneak through here behind the Bentley. I think it's a Bentley. Yep. There's that MGTD we saw driving in before.
Yeah.
And the V8 Lotus Esprit.
The only thing I've been about to say is when you sell the car, you can always
Jesse
say,
steering wheel.
Yeah.
There's like a Harlequin one of these over there somewhere.
Who's there? Look at this. Magnificent pre-war Buick. Is this one of the Canadian Buick McGothans, 1937?
It's left drive, so is that it's Canadian left as well?
Look at that. Beautifully, slightly worn through, polished through chrome on the light there. I love that mob. Chicago. Yeah.
You'd have older plates, wouldn't you?
Oh, they're okay, aren't they? But what a cracking looking car. I just love the styling of this era of car.
The front is really streamlined. It's lovely.
Buick. Can't really see in the windows are up. Oh, the other window's open. Let's have a quick scoot round there and have a quick peer in the dashboard because the detailing is just magnificent on this era of American car. Just look at the shape and the style of that. Just incredible. Well, that's a super smooth violin case. Left-hand drive. Wood effect on the dash. It's just an incredible car in amazing condition.
One thing I love about this one is look at the wing
That
lights.
lamp.
Look at the wing lights on it.
Yeah, fantastic out. Spare wheel set into the front fenders.
There's another one on either side.
Look at the headlights.
So I really can't
Just
just go to an auto jumble and find a couple of those.
No, you'd have to go to the auto jumble in the States like Hershey or somewhere to. A Buick 8.
Straight.
Yeah, straight 8. Got this marker post here to give you a bit of an idea when you're sat all the way over there where the corner of the car is. Beautiful wide running boards as well. What an incredible car. I could be very tempted with something like this one day. Yeah, straight 8 Buick. Magnificent machine. The only downside of such a shiny car is I keep seeing myself, which is never a great thing. But yeah, isn't that incredible looking car? It's like a standard Vanguard on steroids at the back, isn't it?
Oh, at least that was a loud exhaust. Straight 8.
It would sound good.
Yeah.
There's a
Sound like an Alfa.
bonny little Hillman Imp. Such a variety of cars. A show like this, we've got a rear-engined Hillman Imp.
Sadly,
Some
there aren't any
interesting alloy wheels.
singers.
No? MGA. And the mighty Rover SD1, the 3.5 litre V8 SD1. Okay, next row. We've got a 10.4, Morris 10.4. So the sealed beam headlamp conversion on this one. Originally they would have had flat lensed headlamps. This is a later conversion, probably to get slightly more efficient lighting. Yeah, very nice. Don't see too many Morris 10.4 Tourers. You see the odd saloon, but not so many Tourers. Next to that, also Morris, the British Leyland era now, the Morris Marina 700 weight van. Oh, there's a helicopter coming over. That van is super rare. The Rover SD1. Look at this fantastic Saab, a very streamlined Saab 96, the V4 car. It's a fairly late example of the breed, with the rubber bumpers of the later cars similar to those on the 99, which was a contemporary, of course, of the 96 by this point in time. It's on the Ronal Mini Light style wheels. Looks lovely in the sun here today in Staffordshire. Let's carry on along this road. We've got a Clan Clover. These are Alfa Romeo powered.
Is it a Spider or something?
Not sure. Escort, a Mark III Escort 5-door hatch. Trout Stag, roof down.
That one's booted actually.
It's an Escort. And we've got a Bentley here. The S1, I think. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that particular score. There's that fantastic little Bond from the front. What a bonkers car that is. Two different Bond Minicars, slightly different shapes. Fiberglass bodied three-wheelers. And the angle of the steering wheel is pretty wild in these as well. If we have a look in here. Look at that, it's actually angled. It's not straight.
I really like the sprung steering wheel, isn't it?
Yes.
Looks like
have you seen how it's at an angle, the wheel?
Didn't realise they were column shift.
Yeah.
3-speed.
Probably. Is this one the same? The steering wheel the same? Slightly odd angle. Yep. Great to see those here. Got a Cobra replica. And another Cobra replica. Very, very shiny, very, very low. No doubt bobs along quite well. Side pipes on this.
450 brake.
Yes. What's this? Is this a Quantum? I think this is a Quantum kit car, I think. Ford based. Probably Fiesta doors. Certainly looks like a Fiesta door handle. I think it's a Quantum. Yeah, there we go. Memory's not failing me too much just yet. And another Cobra replica here. That's a big lump of engine there. Big V8. What a gathering, and look at this. This incredible car is the Nova. This is a kit car, a VW powered kit car, if I remember correctly. Pretty bonkers wiper assembly as well. If, I know many of you like interesting windscreen wipers, so there you go. You don't get much better than that. Yeah, these are pretty wild to get in and out. The whole roof assembly lifts up on hydraulic struts. I had a ride in one of these many, many years ago as a youth. A friend of Dad's had one of these. Might even be this one, I'm not quite sure. And it had the seats in it out of... Michael Crawford did a film called Condor Man, which wasn't the greatest film ever made, if I'm honest, but it featured, he drove one of these, and the seats out of that car somehow ended up in the Nova that Dad's friend had. So yeah, whether that car's still around, whether the seats are still around or not, I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Pretty wild looking car, and so much lower than this E30 BMW that's parked alongside. Past these Jaguars here, beautiful vintage Citroen. Wow, look at that. Great old Marshall lamps on the front of that.
27, 12, 24.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
12, 24. Yeah, I saw the. I can just see that thing on the back there. Yeah, the old French Marshall headlamps.
3-speed, 1500cc side.
What a beautiful little car that is.
My granddad bought that in 1931.
Your granddad bought
It was
this?
in our family for 80 years before I sold it to the present owner.
Really? Wow. So were you not using it very much then, or how did you end up selling it then? Was
Well,
it sort of
it was my grandfather's car, then my father had it, then when he died I had it.
right?
And he'd had a stroke.
Right, got you.
So it had been laid up for quite a while.
Had it?
It was way beyond anything I could do.
Right,
to
so it
restore
needed a fair bit
I
of.
sold it to Peter here, who was the local Stafford Citroen main dealer, actually.
Oh, is it?
So
It's a cracker, isn't it? It's a lovely little car, isn't it? I love the Marshall lamps on it. I think they're just.
five generations of my family have been in that, and that must be unusual, I'd have thought.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's a beautiful little car. Yes.
You're not the YouTube guy, are you? I recognise the voice.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one or two people have said that, but yeah, no, I love that era of car.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it's so.
Well, these were
such a
SAAB
treat.
built. They were only ever built for the British
Right-hand
market.
drive, isn't it? Yeah.
But
Right.
there's only two in existence.
Are there?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because I know they built a lot of the later Citroens at Slough, didn't they?
They
Like
did,
the Tractions and things
yeah.
like that.
Well, this is the 1927. The other one, which is actually the same colour, is a 1928.
Oh, right.
And that's the only ones that are left.
Wow. No, it's such a appealing little car that
Yeah.
is. I think it's beauty that is.
Dicky seat in the back, you know.
Oh, has it got a dicky seat as well, is it?
Used to go miles in it.
Yeah.
In fact, one day we did the Bean Car Club run, which was held that year in Bournemouth. So we drove all the way down to Bournemouth from the Midlands.
Did you?
On the motorway. It
On the
only
motorway?
Well, it only cruises at 40. You couldn't do
Yeah.
it today.
No.
But you could then.
No, you wouldn't want to be with all these smart motorways and things, would you? Know where to pull over.
Not really.
No, that's not great for old cars, is it?
No.
No,
But it was a big part of our lives, you know.
I'm sure it was.
My brothers and I, you know.
Yeah. It's great. It's out and about here today and getting to all
and
the
it
shows.
survived,
Isn't it?
you know. It was parked up for years when you couldn't, during and after the war years, you couldn't get tyres for it, you know,
Oh, right.
all that sort of thing.
Oh, that's lovely. Thanks for the information. Thank you.
Enjoy your channel, by the way.
Cheers. Nice one. Thank you. Another follower of old classic car there. A Maestro, an immaculate Maestro here. Such a variety of cars. One minute you're looking at a 1920s near 100-year-old Citroen, then you've got a Maestro here, which is a bit of a rare old girl as well, especially in that condition. And look at this. Oh, this takes me back. If you've seen some of the older videos on the channel, you'll remember that many years ago, in about 1990 or 91, I rescued the world's only bullnose two-stroke Saab van that now resides in a museum in America, where I've definitely got a soft spot for these lovely little bullnose Saabs. A little three-cylinder engine there, the radiator mounted behind the engine. In that respect, it's quite similar to the 4CV we got at home. Oh, yeah. What a great little car. There's Sterling Moss in it. It's not lovely. A bullnose Saab 96. Bullnose because it's a really short, stubby nose compared to the V4 Saabs, which I think we've seen. Well, we saw a 96 down there, the V4 with a much longer front on it, and there is a 95 V4 as well, a blue one parked a little bit further down the field here. But this is what they call the bullnose. Quite a stubby front for the two strokes. Sounds fruity. Yeah, what a great little car this is. Really popular in rallying, rallied by the likes of Eric Carlson, the GT750s, the twin carb cars. Came off the line 3rd of December 1963. What a cracking little Saab that is. Gets all over the place, just been chatting to the owners of that. Really clean white Stag MGB Roadster, Mark II Jaguar, lovely car. What's that? 3.4 litre. Yeah. Austin 16, looks pre-war, but these were built just after the Second World War. I'm sure if we have a look in the window it'll tell us. 1948, Austin 16 horsepower BS1 series. So this was like the big brother to the Austin 8 and the Austin 10, which look very, very similar, but a slightly smaller scale. Yeah, very handsome looking car these, I think. Very sleek, good looking car. An MG here. And a Morris 8 Series 1 Tourer on the end of the row. What a cracking little car for a lovely sunny day like this down in Staffordshire. And there's that full Via Zagato at the back there. What a contrast. Low slung early 1970s Italian coach built car and a pre-war British Tourer. Is it a Tourer? Because technically the two-seaters aren't Tourers, they are two-seaters. And only the four-seater, there's a fourth seat, there's a rear seat just there, you can just about see it. So this is a Tourer because it's got 2 rows of seats, four-seater. But the two-seaters were just the two-seaters. They weren't called Tourers, apparently. It's all very confusing. But yeah, lovely, lovely cars. There's a very unusual Daimler on the end here, a Roadster. Very bright in white.
It's got a nice air intake.
It's got air intakes on the top of the bonnet there, a bit like the Elvis Grey ladies have. That's a rare car, that is. Another Morris Minor here, another Series 2, this time a saloon, a 4-door saloon, NSU registration. Very bonny, we've got a Mark II 2-door Escort gear, metallic blue MGB Roadster, chrome bumper, Capri 280, the Brooklands, the last of the line for Capri production. TR6, a very vibrant colour scheme, and a beautiful Jowett Bradford. A Jowett Bradford pickup, Yorkshire's finest of course. Then we've got a Mark I Capri, a V6 Capri. So many cars here. Corvette. Is this the one we saw at Cape Storm last weekend? It probably is, isn't it? 1959 Corvette, yep. Yup, it is. Renault 21. Seen this one at Crew Heritage, I'm pretty sure it's the same car. MGB GT with spoiler. I've seen a Buick already, and look at this. If you watched the Western Park video from a little while ago, you will have seen this car before. A LaSalle, a 1940 LaSalle. These were built by Cadillac. LaSalle was another brand, if you like, in the Cadillac family. Wow. Again, just incredible styling. Such extravagant styling. The detailing is just lovely on this era of American car. Again, beautiful black paintwork on this car. Huge, huge motor car. Probably wouldn't fit in most garages. It's a pretty wild looking car. Next to that, Austin A60 Cambridge. Cavalier with different headlights. Rover P6, the 2000. It's one of the later cars with the sort of egg crate type grille, as opposed to the pressed stainless, I think it was, stainless steel grille on the earlier cars, but otherwise they look pretty much the same. Base unit construction with these particular cars, so you had all the structure was hidden away, all the panels on the outside. I don't think there's any sort of load bearing properties to them, and they all bolt on. Front wings bolt on, the rear wings bolt on, even the roof unbolt, I think. Just like a Citroen DS, these panels come off. So if you're going to buy one of these, have a good poke around, because I'm sure many people have been caught out with a car that's got good exterior panel work bolted to a pretty ropey inner structure. Quite an advanced car for the day, and of course they were designed to be much more advanced with a gas turbine engine. But despite lots of development work, noisy doggies, despite much development work, it didn't actually come into production, and they just stick with regular petrol engines. Yeah, good cars, really good cars. We've got XR3i here. A Singer Roadster, 1952, Singer 4AD Roadster. Don't see many of these, see plenty of MGs. Little Taurus, 2 and 4 seaters.
TD, isn't it?
Yeah, similar sort of age to the TD, isn't it? Riley RM. This is a 2.5 litre car with a pale blue badge. Most of them are 1.5 with a dark blue badge. But that's the giveaway. We're looking at the bigger engine version here. Open top cars are available as well as these very handsome saloons. Lovely, lovely car indeed. The Moggy here with many accessories. Wow, look at all those badges on the front. There's a nice assortment of badges there, isn't there?
I like the BARC.
I'm sure you like that BARC one. Another roof rack. Cases on there. A lot of thought's gone into this one. You can see a proper Morris sales brochure on the seat there. Oh. Oh. Someone's pride and joy there. Mini light wheels, headlamp peaks, and there's all those badges I was saying about. Oh, some lovely badges there. RAC, the St Christopher, Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah, Brands Hatch Motor Club. BARC, the British Automobile Racing Club. And the AA, the Automobile Association. A great little Moggy that is. A Jaguar here. Merc, open top Merc. Another of the alloy bodied Jaguars. This is the XJR, the supercharged car. A lovely little mini pickup, 1972. Badged up as an Austin Cooper, so maybe there are things afoot beneath that car's bonnet. Still got the proper pressed metal front end on it, so many of them have been restored but with saloon type front ends on them, so it's really good to see one with the proper front on it. It's got Cooper-esque wheels, I think, as well. Originally owned and used by the Royal Mail in the Bristol area, then retired from service in the early 1980s. It's lovely to see proper old pickup. Another P6 here, the 3500S, the manual gearboxed V8 version of the Rover P6. And a very brightly coloured MG here, another TD.
I think it's a left-hand drive American.
Is it a left-hand drive American, perhaps? That's probably where it got this very, very colourful paint job. It's extremely eye-catching. You wouldn't lose that in a car park. Oh, super clean little car. On the end here, Vauxhall Viva HC. Right, next row we have a midget 1500. Again, great little car for a day like this. If you can hear clanking metal, it's because in here we have some oil cans that we bought, which we will reveal a little bit later. Yeah, end of the video job. Great little Hillman here. I've seen this one at Crew Heritage. Ford wagon, the Baki. I think this is from South Africa, if memory serves.
There's another Ford.
I've seen this one at Capesthorne, is there?
Yes, about 4 or 5.
Lovely bright yellow stag, we like yellow. Citroen Traction, a left-hand drive, a French-built car. Hey?
This is the light 15, that looks.
It's the light 15, that one, isn't it? I think so. The heavy 15 is sort of a bigger car altogether, I think. Yeah, this is the left-hand drive, so it's a French-built car. Beautiful badges on the front here.
Have a gearbox at the front.
Could be. Really great car. Traction Avant, of course, front-wheel drive. Yeah, oui, monsieur. Oh, there's lots of lovely little details on these French cars, like these little marker lamps on here. The daddy long legs buzzing around. Lovely lights on the back as well. Ooh, nice to see that, and again a car we haven't seen before. For sale, £7,000. TR4, Triumph TR4 here, 1960. 4.
It's a really smart one.
It's lovely, that, isn't it? With the Surrey roof on it.
Nice green one over there as well.
Is it? It's got a Surrey roof with a lift-out metal roof panel. So you've got the best of both worlds. Drop the panel on and you've got a hard top. Take it off and you've got an open top car.
I think it's the best sort of variation.
Yeah. The other advantage of having this panel here, the glazed panel there, is you get a lot less buffeting as well as you're driving along. So if you've just done your hair, then it should stop it getting blown around quite so much. But yeah, it's a very, very clean little car, that is. And here we have a Mark II Ford Consul, two-tone car. Again, have we seen this one before? I'm not sure we have. A few period accessories on it, sun visor, etc. Some extra lamps. Yeah. Really great looking car. Austin Healey Frog Eye Sprite. Such a cute little car. 948 A series engine, the BMC engine. Yeah. And the Thames 300E, the van version if you like, of the little 100E saloon, or the estate rather. Shares most of the body shell with the Squire and the Escort estates. If that shape looks familiar to you, that's where you've seen that shape before. Although around the back there are differences, because the vans have a pair of side hinged rear doors, whereas the Escort and the Squire estates, even though the main body is the same, they have a split tailgate, a top hinge there and the bottom bit drops down, a bit like a Range Rover. But yeah, very, very similar looking to the Escort and Squire estate. So that will still have the standard 100E engine, the side valve, 1172cc engine under that bonnet, unless it's been modified of course, which many of them have. A lot of them have got Anglia engines shoehorned into them, the 105E overhead valve engine. Pontiac here, mighty Pontiac, another Hillman Imp, I like that. That sounds great, that. Mark 1 Ford Capri, another one of those, we've seen one of them already. Pontiac Firebird, Saab 900, a 5-door Saab 900. It's on the 16S turbo, the 16 valve turbo wheels.
This is just a 900 either.
Yeah. MGF. E-Type 2+2, Series 2. So a 4.2 litre engine. Oh, look at that. Phase 1 standard Vanguard. We've seen one or two Vanguards lately.
There are two silver
but not
ones,
this one. We've seen two silver ones, a phase 1A and a 1. Well, this is a black phase 1, original registration as well, and it's a proper Ace number plates as well, which is always good to see. What a cracking looking car that is, big brother to our little 8 that brought us down here today. I wonder if this appears in my little book. Let me go and have a look. No, the I Spy book of cars has let me down. It only has the phase 3 Vanguard estate, no mention of the older phase 1. That's very disappointing, but never mind. It usually gets me out of trouble, but not in this occasion. But let's have a quick look around the back at this beetle back styling. It's got the rear wheel spats, the phase 1s. Yeah. What a treat to see that. Such a great looking car, I think these are. Very sort of transatlantic styling. Well, the British take on transatlantic styling anyway. The good old dependable 4-cylinder Triumph engine, standard Triumph engine.
What size is it? This is
about 2.2 litre, I think. And here we have a Ford Prefect, a 107E Ford Prefect. That little dog leg on there, usually, as in this case, tells us this is a 107E as opposed to 100E. The 100E, of course, it's got a side valve engine, but the 107E was a bit of a run-out model, a bit of a stopgap, and it had the overhead valve engine that also featured in the Anglia 105E, the car with the reverse sort of rake rear window. So this is a very, very late example of the 100E breed, like I say, in overhead valve form. I'm just having a quick flick through my book to see if that Ford appears in here. I'm just flicking my way furiously through. So we've got the Ford Anglia, we've got the 100E, So many of the comments that apply to the Anglia in this little I Spy book will relate to this prefect here. A well-designed, boxy-looking car. Between the baby and the medium-sized car, I Spy the latticed radiator grille, head and side lamps under one cowl, a straight chromium flash on the side, 2 doors, and Anglia on the front. The prefect has 4 doors, which is what we're looking at here. So this, if you like, was the posh version of the 100E range. Quite a rare car now, these overhead valve examples. I think I can hear a dog. Here we have a 2-door Morris Minor. Bits and bobs for sale. Anything we need? You never know. £3, is that £3 for the lot? Or £3 each? Don't quite know. A few spanners there, bike spanners. Always worth having a good look there. A re-engined Mark 1 Escort.
Get those in the standard.
And here we have the Vauxhall Victor FB. That's a nice looking car.
You like this one, do you?
I quite like these, yeah.
I like the
think
rear
they're
lights.
quite nice.
Have you seen the other ones?
Well, this is the VX490. Of course, it's got the strip down the side, the contrasting colour strip down the side, and the badge there. So this is the VX490. This is the sportier version of the Victor with a very different rear light treatment compared to your regular Victors. Yeah, it's quite a rare car, that is. Oh, A40 incoming. Let's go around there and have a look at the Farina Grey A40. Yeah, I do like this Vauxhall though. But yeah, a Mark 1 Farina, A40 Farina. These were introduced in 1958, same colour as ours. Well, ours has got the grey roof as well. Otherwise very, very similar to this car, although this is in somewhat better condition than ours. Got a pair of the old No-Tech blue spot lamps on the front. Glistening chrome. Handsome little cars, designed by Pininfarina. This was the first car to go on sale after Farina and BMC decided to collaborate on the design of new cars in the late 1950s. So this replaced the Austin A35. Under the skin, the running gear is pretty much the same as an Austin A35. I think slightly larger brakes on the front, but otherwise very, very similar indeed. Great to see this one. Ours has got the blue trim.
Is it the same colour?
Yeah.
Ours doesn't have
So this is a deluxe. No. So this is a deluxe with the bumper overriders, the opening rear side windows. The base model has just have fixed windows in like a rubber seal. Really cool. Yeah, it's the same model as this one. That's really nice. Really, really nice example. And again, I don't think we've seen that one before. So, let's carry on along here towards the end of the row. Spitfire Mark IV. This incredible Morris MO based pickup truck. This followed us in this morning, although we parked in the public car park because we hadn't pre-booked. But yeah, this followed us in. It looked really good in the rear view mirror. 1954 Morris Cowley MCV half-ton chassis cab. Exported to Portugal in January 1954. What? No, I think it was built like that from new, I think, yeah. A bit of history there. I went to Germany and came over here. The Derrington twin carb conversion. Yeah. That's very cool, that is. And on the end of the row, an Austin A35, a lovely 2-door Austin A35. SU carburettor on this one. Originally it would have had a little Zenith on there. Rose style wheels.
In a way, it's still smaller than the standard unit, isn't it?
A bit more bits and bobs.
Exactly.
And we've seen a 96 and we've seen a bullnose 96 as well, the V4 and the bullnose 2-stroke car. Here, a lovely V4 95 Estates, the station wagon version of the small Saab. I do like these, really weird looking car, but I like those a lot. Next to that, 1300L Mark 1 Ford Escort. Really nice, clean car that is.
Yeah, I think it's original.
Super clean, isn't it? Very, very original car. A P100 based on the Cortina. 1984 that is. Got a Mark 3 Mini here.
This is a lovely little car.
Super tidy, isn't it?
850.
Yeah. Super original. 850 single carb. And the Mark II Ford Cortina here. Is this a Granada or is it a Consul? I know the early ones were badged as Consuls. So we will have a look around the back for clarification. This is a Granada. Probably the R registration is probably the giveaway, because by then I think they dropped the Consul name. A kit car here. Oh, it's a very clean Granada. I love the seat covers in there. Super period, proper 1970s accessory. Old tax disc as well.
Yeah, the seats are a bit mad, aren't they?
Yeah.
You see this man? Yeah. Wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild looking.
I'll tell you what, there's a
car,
lovely, you
isn't
can
it?
just see the back of it there, W108 red saloon. Really, really nice for sale.
Let's go down here, carry on down the row. Oh, there's a Merc down there.
Yeah, really
Nice stag, I like that shade of blue. XR3i. Pair of MGTFs. Bright red car here. And a jolly yellow car here. As you know, we like yellow cars here at OCC. I've seen this one before, and it's, where do we see this? Was it at Cape Storm? Yes, everywhere. Nice little B Mustang, a police car.
It's a Crown,
F250 pickup. What a monster that is. That's huge. Probably not huge when you see it in America, but in little old Staffordshire, these look pretty big. Fleet side type body on this particular one. What's this mighty Cadillac here? A great little Mini. The Series 2 Jaguar XJ. Could be a 4.2 or a 3.4 or the V12, the 5.3.
3.4.
But yes, it's not a V12, so it's a 6-cylinder car. This is. If we had a look at the rev counter, that would give us a bit of a clue, because the V12 is revved higher than the 6-cylinder cars. This is the Series 2, which was the revised XJ. Still have the quarter lights in the doors of the Series 1, but on the Series 1 these opened. You had like a little rotating knob, so you could actually wind those open. But on the Series 2 they're fixed. Different dashboard as well compared to the Series 1. That basic dash layout passed on to the Series 3 as well. It's a manual overdrive, this one. Just notice that. That's quite unusual, because most of these, the vast majority of these, had the slush pump, the automatic gearbox, the Borg Warner. Yeah, it's a nice colour, that is. It's a handsome looking car. XJ6L, L for long wheelbase. As nearly all Series 2s were. There were a few short wheelbase Series 2s, because you could get the short wheelbase Series 1s, but very few Series 2s were made with a shorter wheelbase, because they were a bit cramped in the back. Just had to change batteries. Right, where were we? Lovely XJ. Caddy. I'm not quite sure what model of Cadillac that is. Sprite, Austin Healey Sprite. The Morris Traveller here. Morris Traveller there. And this. Now this, is this the Austin Apache?
It's a Victoria.
Is it the Victoria?
It's an Austin Victoria.
Austin Victoria, the booted version.
Michelotti front and back.
Yeah, it's the booted
It's a Spanish
1100, isn't it? Right, so you've been around here already, haven't you?
I've pretty much done all my filming.
You've done all your videoing, haven't you?
Yeah.
I started at the other end of the field. Yeah.
I've done the trucks and this field.
You're a lot quicker than I am. This looks like, so it's the Victoria.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Built in Spain.
Yeah.
It was built in Spain, Pamplona, 1972 to 1974. You won't see one of those every day. I've never seen this one before. No, not yet. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Holly's just pointed out a lovely little fire extinguisher down there. Yeah, very, very different in here. There's a Wasp. There's a very, very different interior compared to the 1100s and the 1300s that we know here in the UK. So someone's brought this over. Oh. Super rare car. Right, And down here, Mini, and the two-door Moggy 1000, 1958, called Mavis. Next row, Fiat Panda. These have got quite the following now, as have these, the early MX-5s. Thames 307E van. Another Triumph 2000 Mk1. This one slightly modified, quite a jazzy colour scheme. It's a 2.5 PI going off the injection badge on the bonnet there, which makes it quite a rarity. Lucas fuel injection, similar to that in the TR5 and the TR6. Was it?
Gearbox, as is this.
Oh, this has been modified a little, hasn't it?
Looks really nice, but it's a 5-speed.
The wheels are very similar to the ones that were fitted on the twin cam MGAs.
Yeah, it's like mini D-type wheels.
Yeah. Wolseley 1500. We like those, don't we? 1963, Mark III. XJ. Interesting colour scheme, not seen that before. Morris van. Lovely little, very clean Morris van. Quite wide steel wheels. Otherwise looks fairly standard.
Is this maybe the one that's got a diesel engine?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh wait, no, I think it's a different one.
Rover 110, 1964. P1800S in 1965. That shows its running gear with the Amazon. Nissan Figaro. These are all automatics based on the Micra. Quite a cool looking car, is it?
Yeah, because it says turbo now, and I would have thought they'd turbo the petrol.
I don't know, they might do. Nice colour.
Are they all this colour?
No, some are greys and this, that and the other. B Roadster and the RV8. BGT. Oh, sorry, that's a BGT, wasn't it? Silly me. That's another GT. MGTF. Midget. In the MG Club, Upholsteries and South Cheshire branch of an MG Club, so hence the many MGs. It would explain things, wouldn't it? Lovely MGA Roadster here.
When you walk around here,
This fantastic Capri, we saw this at Capesthorne last weekend. Super clean, 1300. Pretty much the the introductory spec. Yeah. Just incredible condition, this one. RS Turbo, Ford Capri, somewhat modified, 307E, very modified indeed. Got a fruity looking engine in that one. Another RV8 MG, Aston Martin and Riley RM. Another Stag, roof down, glistening in the sun. Oh, incredible condition. It's got a walnut veneer dash in this one. Manual overdrive. There's a 3-litre V8 to Triumph engine. Another classic Triumph, and it's for sale. A Herald 1360 Saloon.
I'd run that.
Yeah, it'd be perfect for you, that one. 1296. Yeah, 1296 cc. Yeah, very tunable little car. You can bolt on lots of Spitfire bits onto these. A few little bits want catching.
Yeah.
But
it's the only
not
bit
bad,
though,
is it?
around
Yeah,
the
it's
front.
all right, isn't it?
On the side.
Yeah, it's a very usable classic car, that, isn't it? As long as the chassis is alright. You have to watch for this, because separate chassis on these.
Undersealed.
Yeah, you have to have a good prod at the underseal. Because you've got outriggers, those sills below the doors, they're only screwed on, they're just there for appearances. There's like a chassis out, the chassis comes out and then the outrigger runs along behind there and then goes back in the head of the rear wheels.
Nice inside.
Yeah. Great cars, really spacious, you can really see out of them well. Compared to a modern car which has tiny windows and an awful view out.
Yeah, the 1360s certainly have a very good view, don't they?
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
the 1250s as well.
Great cars, these were used a lot for driving schools back in the 1960s. Because again, really easy to see out of and to park, manoeuvre, and with a really tight turning circle as well.
You sit on the tyre while you're fitting your
well,
tuning bits.
That's it. I've got a V8.
This is good.
V8 powered Vauxhall here.
It's a Rover
Wow.
V8 in it.
It's a Rover, yeah it is, isn't it? Yeah. Wow.
It reminds me of that rally one we saw at Weston Park.
Yeah, the rally one's got the Chevy engine in, isn't it, that we've seen. I'm talking the Rover V8. Got an MGB GT V8 with the Rover V8 engine nestled in there. Looks like it was always meant to be there, doesn't it? That actually engine, that was a Buick design originally. Ooh. Must go very nicely indeed. MGA.
This is my favourite one. It's got the early sprung steering wheel.
What? The MGA? Oh yeah. Got a Porsche, Audi TT. Modern classic, definitely.
What's that look, Nicola?
The big bumper 16 valve Golf GTI Mark II. And Gilburn. Wales' finest. Ford powered. And we've got an SEC Mercedes, the 126 Series Coupe. TR7 V8. We had a close look at this one a little while ago. The Old Piggery Cafe at Combermere, the meats, the morning meat they have there, usually the first Sunday of the month. Really nice P4, a 105R. The Morris 8 Tourer, Series 1. And you'll need any tyres. Moggy Traveller. Not quite sure what this is, sort of auto grass racer perhaps. 2200 SC. SC, a single carburettor on this Rover P6. So we've seen most variants of the P6 here today. A Nissan wagon, Jaguar XK8, another XK8, V8 powered, 4.2 litre. Chevette HSR rally car, Fiat 600, Lotus Elan with big bump in the bonnet. What that's about? Yeah, Trials car. That's early landing. Another one registered NSU. Wow. That was that Moggy was NSU, wasn't it? The Morris Minor we saw before. Riley are another 2.5. Oh. Here was me saying they were rare. That's 2 of them today. And on the end here, much modified Capri with electronic fuel injection, no less. Bonny little Mini here, 1100 Mini. A few tractors running. Hence the diesel soundtrack that now accompanies this part of the video. Got a Mark II Capri there, a 2 litre S. Ford Mustang.
Oh, it's one of these things.
Yeah,
there's the V6 ones, aren't they?
Quite an oddball. Oh, now this is nice. What's this? A Humber, a vintage Humber. That's a beautiful car, that is. What a lovely car that is. I'll have to have a closer look at this. I get withdrawal symptoms for our 20s Dodge whenever I look at a car like this. There's the fuel gauge set into the top of the tank. What a beautiful car. I love the V windscreens on these, and the dashboard is V'd as well to match the screen. Not lovely. What a lovely car that is. A Triumph TR3A there and the TR6. Many tractors running. A Hanomag, there's a rare one. That reminds me of a field marshal.
That's thrilled, isn't it?
Yeah. Where were we? Cars, right. mustn't get distracted. So, another Mark III Mini down here on Cooper S wheels. I can see the little drilled circular holes of the Cooper S wheels. Otherwise a very original looking Mark III Mini. Another Capri Mark 1 alongside, that's a 1600 car. Triumph Acclaim. A little three-wheel Barclay, the T60. Granada Estate. If you checked out our video that we did in Devon just a few weeks ago, you'll see we found one of these at an antique centre just surrounded by clutter. The blue Triumph Stag there. Peugeot 106 Zest limited edition. Midget here, 15. That's a round wheelie actually, it's an earlier one. Oh yeah, there's the A series engine. It's on an L registration. And we've got a homage to the Aston Zagatos, the DB4 Zagato. It's based on the Z3 BMW, I think, that one. Proper Aston Martin colours. Series 3, V12 E-Type. A Roadster, no, is that a manual or an automatic? Could be either. 5.3 litre V12 engine, 4 Stromberg carburetors, busily supplying fuel to that engine. This is an auto. Very handsome machine. Oh, this is nice, isn't it? What's this, a lightweight replica?
It's 60.
It's a late Series 1, yeah, it's a very late Series 1, a 1.5. Oh, that's quite a car, isn't it? So it's been built up to look like the old lightweight racing cars. Fantastic with those centre lock wheels on it. What a great looking car that is, in the hardtop. I bet it's warm in there on a day like this. I'm getting pretty warm just looking at it. Pretty wild looking car. Super little Mini there. Lots of tractors running. Many tractors. Wolseley 1500, an earlier Wolseley 1500 than the one we saw before. They're not leaking those oil cans, are they? No. Don't know what that is. What's that? Smart, isn't it? Yeah. Smart, yeah, that's right. Alfa Romeo.
Use this for the foot too.
BBR Turbo MX5. That must go well. Magenta Interceptor. Big Chrysler V8 engine under that bonnet. There on the steering wheel. Oh, the Triumph Stag again, roof down. Here we go, GT40, a Ford GT40 replica. 40 because the original car stood 40 inches high. Well, this one has got a slight appendage on the top of the door to accommodate the taller head. So that's probably a GT44 or 45, this one, but yeah, great car. Huge wheels and tyres on the back. That must be a lot of fun. 1965 GT40. So apparently this is an original 65 chassis and later bodywork to Mark 1 spec by GT40 Experts Tornado Sports Cars. And by complete contrast, the tractors are heading off, I think, into the display arena. I like this grey Fergie with the roof. That's nice, isn't it? Keeps the elements out a little bit. Very luxurious. Goodwood Circuit Maintenance. The Austin Gypsy. Of course, the classic cars are just a part of the Eccleshall show. There is so much else going on. Look at these magnificent Shire horses. Perhaps not their best end, but never mind. See if we can get around the front of one. It was a bit risky being at this end. Incredible creatures. I think the tractors are probably coming in here a little bit later on. But we're going to head back and go and have a quick bite to eat, and then we'll have another look around the cars after lunch. Not what you want to see in your rear view mirror. Yeah, time for a butty, I think. And I think we'll probably have a look at today's purchases. If you just hang on a sec, Al, I think we'll have a look inside the bag of delights. Yeah, let's do the quick reveal. Right, number one, this is Harley's purchase. Great oil can. I love the shape of this. Let's just see if we can get that in the light. Wow, what a great thing that is. There's no maker's mark on it anywhere, is there?
I just like the shape.
But yeah, what a great looking oil can. And this was thrown in, donated with it. That's a lovely little can, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
It's a little fuel can,
I would have bought if you hadn't got to it first.
Oh, and this is the one I bought, a lovely K's of Leeds oil can. Yeah, that's a really nice one. I haven't got one that shape, so these were just on a stall, not in the main area, just in front of a nice old caravan. So we got those. So those are today's little wins here at Eccleshall. But now, sandwiches. Mustn't get distracted. Sandwich, sandwich, sandwich. My youthful assistant is demonstrating our period chair choice of the day. These lovely spring out sort of things. So they double up as a bit of a walking stick if you're going cross country, and then ping them open. There you go. Very sort of period, what, 50s, 1960s, something like that. I'm not sure if there's a maker's sticker. It says made in England, and the remains of a sticker from the shop that supplied it originally. These are just really handy things, really light as well, so perfect for a day like this. Eh? Pretty nifty, eh? Tractors have been in the arena while we were grabbing a quick bite to eat, and they're heading back to their parking area now. There's the Hano Mag just backing into its spot over there. Right, so we're going to head now to the car club area. This is where the people who've booked in individually are parked up. A bit of everything here, including that glorious pre-war Humber we were looking at before, and this Elan with extra bump in the bonnet. Actually, there are fewer people around now compared to when we walked past before, so we can have a better look at this Spanish-built Austin Victoria, based on the good old 1100 and 1300, the BMC car. Looks very much like Harvest Gold, same colour as Dad's MGB, and many other BL cars of the era. Yeah.
It looks like a Dolomite at the front, I think.
Yeah, it's sort of got a bit of a...
And they did the Dolomites.
Yeah, sort of Dolomite or Fiat-y looking at the front, isn't it? And the very familiar doors of the 1100, but a very different back end indeed. The Victoria Deluxe. The booted 1100. Right, now, where were we? Ah, yes. Clubs area over here. Got a lovely Mercedes here, early 1970s on the J plate. We've been looking at one or two of these for sale very recently, and this one is for sale as it happens. The cars I've been looking at, I've got the straight six in, which are the W108. This has got the V8, so this is the W109. It's virtually the same car, I think. Slightly, a few extra bits of trim on the windscreen pillar on the V8 cars like this compared to the 6s. Very similar otherwise. Stacked headlights. I think these are like the American market export lamps. Most of the cars that were sold in this country have like big one-piece sort of lozenge vertical lamps on either side. Yeah. South African, is it? Alright. Yeah, quite a few of these seem to have been brought in from South Africa because I think they avoid much of the rust that ravaged so many cars that have been sold and run from new in this country. And this is a handsome machine. It's a very handsome car indeed. Windows open, so that means we can have a peer inside. The column shift automatic. The smell of leather, looks like it's been retrimmed. Nice quality car. Handsome, understated car. Properly built from a time when Mercedes were really beautifully screwed together. 300 SEL, SE for fuel injection, L for long wheelbase. Got the Jaguar stand over there, mixture of XJs. Got SLK on this row, the Cortina GXL, the Singer Vogue, the Arrow series car, or the Sunbeam Vogue in fact. It's quite unusual.
Aren't those like the last of Roots Group sort of thing?
Getting close towards the end of Roots Group, yeah. MGR V8, Roadster on Roadster wheels. Good old little Vauxhall Nova 5-door hatch alongside the Granada of the late 1970s, about 1980ish. The Bentley 8. The Bentley 8 had this crisscrossy grille pattern. The Mulsannes and the Mulsanne turbos had vertical slats, but the 8 had this crisscross. Yeah, there you go, 1990 Bentley 8.
I love this Mini, this is really nice.
Mini's super clean, isn't it? That's that, a Mark II, 1967. That's really nice, that is. A Mazda 121 on the end here, and yet more goodies for sale. Here's something I've never seen before. 4-wheel drive VW Synchro. Oh, that's quite a funky looking thing. Crew cab pickup. 4-wheel drive, lifted up quite high off the ground. So what's the blurb of this then? T25 TriStar Synchro, 1988. One of 500 built. Left-hand drive. That's a funky little thing. It is. Yeah. Again, something I've never seen before. Super shiny moggy Traveller here. Evans. Next to the moggy. Quite a rare Riley. Is that the Roadster? Very elegant looking machine indeed. And here, Triumph Toledo. Mustang. Now we've got the South Staffs MG Owners Club. So I'm expecting to see quite a few MGs. There's a Roadster there. MGF. A very, very modified looking GT.
I quite like the sort of intake thing on the side.
Oh yeah.
That's quite good, I think.
Yeah. A lot of work's gone into that. MGTF 1500. MGs as far as the eye can see. A multitude of Morgans here. And also a multitude of Morgans and a multitude of MX-5s. The gaggle of MGs here. Bit of everything there.
I like the hardtop on that one actually.
Yeah, it's a factory hardtop with added air vent on the roof off an A35 van. For a bit of extra ventilation. This is a sort of mod that they did on the works race and rally cars. That's off the A35 van and the minivans, the early
I
minivans.
love those filters.
Yeah.
They're great, aren't they? What a lovely engine bay.
Yeah, super clean.
Yeah, that's
Optional oil cooler there. Oh, an MG Magnet. What's this, 1954? It's quite an early Magnet. MG Sporting Saloon of the 1950s.
About 65 brake, I think.
Are they?
60 and 65 for the ZA.
It's had a full restoration over 3 years. Look at the state of that.
Yeah. And a modern alternator instead of a modern seats. How is it?
Beautiful looking car. God, look at the rust. Wow. Right, the body was a bit rough on this Magnet before work started. Good grief. That's pretty terrifying. Yeah, it's great that it's been saved, and look at the condition of it now. What a fantastic car. Here, Mini Studio 2, one of the many limited editions of the late 1980s, based on a good old classic Mini. Whole lineup of Minis here on this particular club stand, including this incredible example here. Minis are no stranger to tinworm.
I like this colour in the stone. It's great, isn't it?
And the bonnet's up on the Citroen Traction Marshall. Yeah, and there's the engine, the 4-cylinder engine of the Citroen Light 15. And the bonnet is also up on this 1960 Mark II console that we saw before. So it'd be rude not to have a peek under here as well, wouldn't it? Nice firing order sticker there.
Do you rate the don't drain sticker?
Yes. Engine firing order 1243. That's the same as the side valve Fords, but more often than not, 4-cylinder cars are 1342. So it's interesting that the side valve Fords and the 4-cylinder engines in these consoles are 1243. That's a bit unusual. That would have caught me out if I bought one of these and was poking around under the bonnet. Without looking in the book, I would have expected 1342. But no, 1243. You learn something new every day. What do we have here? Triumph badged. It reminded me of a Healy drone or something. I can't remember now. This. Oh, interesting car. So it's got little Brooklands aero screens. So, Vitesse. So a special based on the pre-war Triumph Vitesse. Obviously the badge is off a 60s Triumph Vitesse.
Dash in that.
Yeah.
I actually don't think it's real. I think it's quite a nice looking thing.
Yes.
For things that are based on
Yes.
they're not meant to be though, since they're
Yeah.
a bit awkward, but that looks
Yes, pretty wild and distinctive car.
How much more unprofessional can you get than that? There's only one more.
Oh, what's this late arrival here now? If you saw a video we did at Weston Park just a little while ago, you'll remember we saw this one parked up. A Morris Marina TC Coupe, TC, presumably twin carburetors. But many, many interesting options on it. They appear to be in period. Got some lovely Lucas lamps on the front. Very, very nice. Special tuning stickers. But this is what I remember this car for, is this boot spoiler. A Leyland special tuning.
That's actually quite good, I like that.
That's quite a funky. Is it a little spoiler that's just been blended on, or is it the whole boot lid? Or is it just like a fiberglass thing that attaches to the original boot lid? I don't know.
It's a Mehari.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. This is quite a groovy car. Look at that. Special tuning gives you more car. Yeah. Vinyl roof, Webasto opening roof, wood trim, comfy velour seat or nylon seats. Yes. That's quite cool, that, isn't it? Any Marina fans watching, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments which of the cars or other vehicles we've featured here today would be the one that you would be bringing home with you. Now here's something I don't think I've ever seen before either. A Citroen Mehari, based on the 2CV. But yeah, what a weird little car that is. The closest I've got to one of these is having a little plastic pedal car. But yeah, I've never seen a proper one. In the, I don't think they're metal, are they? They're fiberglass, aren't they? Yeah.
It's like a Kubelwagen.
Yeah, it's like a plastic Kubelwagen. Yeah. So the instrument cluster looks quite Citroen 2CV or Diane, that kind of thing. But yeah, what a funny little vehicle. Mehari Club.
Probably with about 3 members. There can't be many.
Yeah, there can't be many in this country, can there? And there's that intriguing pre-war Triumph. What a funny little car this Mehari is. Look at this beautiful Austin K9. Just saw this as we were heading towards the exit, but I had to come and have another quick look. This wasn't here when I walked up the road before. What a bonny little 1950s military Austin. This is the militarised version of the Austin Lodestar. Looks like it's got a radio van body on the back, although it's probably been converted into living accommodation, which is usually the case with many of these preserved Austins now. What a great looking thing, and indeed this lovely little Land Rover alongside. Well, I think we have probably seen everything there is to see here today at the Eccleshall show. That's a bit of a mouthful. It's a one-day show only, this one, surprisingly. There's a lot going on, lots of cars we haven't seen before and a few familiar faces. That's always nice as well. There's this lovely Citroen Light 15 over here, that Cortina based pickup we have seen before. And this is a beautiful Citroen. And we've been blessed with fantastic weather. Anyway, Thank you so much for watching this video. Please check out the rest of the channel if you are new to the Old Classic Car channel, because there are many show visits and walkarounds on here now which may or may not be of interest to you. So thanks very much for watching this one here at the Eccleshall show in sunny Staffordshire. Very sunny, in fact. Like, subscribes, comments, always welcome as ever. If you'd like to support what we do on our respective channels, me and Harley, please think about joining the channel, and for a very small monthly sum you can help just offset some of the costs we get with coming to these events, you know, tickets, petrol, that kind of thing. It all adds up, but we enjoy doing this sort of thing, so we will be carrying on for as long as we are able. Thanks so much, and bye for now.
Yeah. Oh, my single, I don't think